Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn! What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels, and welcome to the Week in Geek, a wholly owned subsidiary of free-range Idiocy, wherein we, your humble idiotic hosts, present our midweek dose of geekery for you, not people. Sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we found off the bottom of the interweb shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I'm your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the lead editor and chief bottle washer of the Week in Geek. I give you the man they call Tim.
Greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
You know, been better, been worse. Basically, just pretty good for the shape, man.
Well, we're off to a roaring start, I see. I'm here. I'm breathing. Woo!
Hey, it's really fracking hard to improve if you're not starting there as a baseline, you know?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And yourself, sir.
I'm well. We'll get into our weekends and stuff, but I am feeling good after a good weekend, and yeah, you know, just ready to start the week, which is going to be a shorter work week. So looking forward to that. That's going to be nice, and going to have the kiddos home, and going to eat ourselves some good meals over the next or latter half of the week, several days.
Now, did you say you're grilling or are you smoking?
I'm grilling. I can't smoke. Well, I'm going to indirectly heat the bird because I can't cook it for the couple hours I need to. Otherwise, I'll burn it. You know, from direct heat. So the way I have a small Fuego grill. If you ever want to check out Fuego, they are a very compact, space efficient gas grill. But you have limited cooking surface because it is not a huge grill. So, but the way they do it is they have a 2-zone burner. It's basically a circular grill. So you have one outer burner, and then you have an inner burner. And so what I do is I just run the outer burner and I put the turkey breast in the middle. It is slow roasted in a way.
Very nice.
But I'm going to brine it, and not sure what I'm going to do from a seasoning standpoint. I have kind of a seasoning recipe that I've used the last couple of years, so I think I'm going to do that. But
now, when you do the brine, like what is, because I've this is a thing that I've heard a lot about, and some people get really into this, like the whole brining thing. It's like a 12 to 24 hour kind of thing, and some people are like, oh, you can just do a quick brine. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell a brine is. Like, I know brine is salt, obviously, but like what is your?
I'm not a master briner, so I'm actually, this will be the first year I'm like really doing.
You got to separate those words a little bit more just to make sure we don't get dinged on like Spotify or something.
Are you kidding me? That doesn't even sound close.
It's like when Paul Heyman did his thing with Mark Hunt. He's like, you have to make sure that you separate those words. Oh my God.
I'm glad we have to appeal to the lowest common denominator here. Jeez Louise.
Look who you're doing a show with.
Good God.
Tell me you didn't see this coming after 20 years? Come on.
I did a basic brine last year where I think
what does that mean?
Huh?
What's like a basic brine? Can you just give me because
I mean, it was just I believe it was just water and like a salt brine sort of thing. My wife purchased a brine kit, like a mix, so it has more than salt in it. It's seasonings. Actually, it could have been. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was salt and a few other things. I just don't remember what they were because I don't do it all the time. So it's like I forget.
Like bath salts in there or something.
No, it's not bad. Come on, give me a little credit here for crying out loud. But
why does it taste like lavender? I don't know.
But I did it in a the lobster pot we have. I think we had like a big lobster pot or I think we did it that way because you need to submerge it, and that sort of thing. I think what I'm going to do this year, and this was just something my wife and I kind of came up with, just riffing on what we could do differently. And it's only a 6-pound turkey breast. I mean, we don't, my wife's a vegetarian. There's only a couple of us that really eat the meat. We try not to overdo it with like an 18-pound bird because we're going to throw it out. Like we're not going to eat it all. So But one thing we talked about is maybe using our cooler, filling it with ice and water, because you have to keep the bird cold.
Mm-hmm.
Use our cooler and put it in there with the brine mix.
Do you have actually? This wouldn't be good for.
And then we
brine.
just clean the cooler out afterwards.
Well,
Obviously,
yeah.
but yeah,
that'd be a nasty surprise come springtime.
Ew.
Something would crawl out of there at you. Maybe not. I guess if you're going to marinate, it'd be better. So there's a place here in Maine that on the Vine. It's a market that they have a pretty good meats department and butcher shop.
Yeah.
And when you get like their house marinated, steak tips or turkey or chicken breasts and all that, they vacuum seal it.
Oh, okay.
Which is amazing because when they vacuum seal it, it actually opens up the pores in the meat.
Okay.
So it pulls the marinade into the meat. So like this stuff is like literally all the way through. It's not one of those deals where it's just like it's coated on the outside. Like it really infuses it into the meats, if you will. That wouldn't work for brining. I bet the salt just kind of does its thing. And that
might be able to beat my prices, but you can't beat my meat. Hey, aren't you?
So does that like help keep it moist? I mean,
the brining?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's the intent. Is it is supposed to keep it moist, succulent.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to cook it, that it once it's fully cooked, you have a very
supple,
moist and tender turkey meat.
Pliable.
Yes. So that is this conversation is now making me realize I need to probably read up on this brine that my wife bought, and then also figure out, if I want to do, because typically what I'll do is a dry rub on the outside of the skin. I did one year, I did do a bacon wrap turkey where I literally put bacon all around the turkey and I cooked it that way. Very good. I can't remember. I might have put it under the skin. I don't quite remember if it was over or under, but
I've done
it was
that
very good.
Over.
I think it was over. Yeah, I had to like pin. I used. I forget what I used. I used, I think, some bamboo like
toothpicks, kind of.
Maybe toothpicks, yeah, to put it in. I mean, they got singed and stuff like that, but they don't burn too badly. But it was good. Good, people liked it. I didn't want to go too crazy this year that way, so I'm just gonna probably do a brine and then just a dry rub on the outside, and then see what happens.
Very nice, very nice.
But I also need to understand if the brine needs to complement the rub or not. Like if you do that, is there, because you're using salt as part of it, right? So you got to be careful when you do a rub. If it's got salt in it, is it now going to be a very salty turkey because you're overdoing it in one area? So,
yeah.
Anyway, it's just a little learn. See, even at the Big 5-0, you still need to learn some things.
Of course you should. I mean, I'm a big fan of lifelong learning.
There it is.
Yeah, I think this year we're supposed to actually go to our niece's house for Thanksgiving proper.
Okay.
And I think we're bringing like one, maybe two things. One of which we're making. The other, I think we're bringing a gluten-free apple pie, basically so that I have something to eat, and then like an apple sausage stuffing that my wife does. So
nice.
But we're also planning on doing a Thanksgiving for ourselves, just the three of us, the next day. So we actually do have a bird. The other half of the stuffing will be for us, and kind of the regular stuff, but it's only for three of us. So I think I got it's like a 10.5 pound bird.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's reasonable, and then I'll be able to do my normal thing where it's like after Thanksgiving, I then eat Thanksgiving again, like lunch and dinner for as long as possible.
Yep.
So I get to fulfill that dream again, which is always nice.
Yeah. The struggle we have is that this weekend, what we will do is like Friday, we will go out to eat as a family, just because we're all together. We haven't been able to do that very much. And so, yeah, it becomes one of those things like Friday morning for us, my wife makes a big breakfast. Prior to that, myself and the kids will go get the Christmas tree at, of all places, Home Depot, because Home Depot actually at least around us, we have a Home Depot that has good Christmas trees and they're not crazy expensive. So, so we do that, but we have a big breakfast. So then it's like, you don't want to eat the entire day after that. Yeah. And then, but by the time you get to the evening, when we go out to dinner, then you're nice and hungry, so
ready to get it going again.
So you're not eating any, Thanksgiving food in between. And then Saturday might be a day where we could do it, because we don't have anything, I think, planned for going out to eat or anything like that. So maybe I think we'll have some like appetizer-y food or something. But that is, of course, that leads into our Friday Week in Geek episode of Survivor Series. That's next Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
So I will be pulling up a chair down here in HQ and enjoying watching Dominic Mysterio get slapped around in front of his hometown crowd. So
it's good to have goals. Good to have goals.
Good to have goals. All right. How about you? Do you guys get your tree put up?
Yes, especially with
that
Kaylin
Friday
being at college this year. Really glad that we kind of started that tradition. I've been referred to as a Scrooge and a Grinch and so forth, because I don't believe in decorating, in Christmas music and all that stuff like before Thanksgiving. I like to enjoy the holidays as they kind of come at you. If you want to do it, that's great. Like, you want to put up your Christmas tree in August, whatever. I don't care. It's just, as for me in my house, that's just kind of what I do.
So say we all.
Yeah. So like,
nice.
Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving, and then the next day it's like, all right, let's go get the tree. Let's get it set up. Hopefully no one cusses anyone out. There's no Jim Cornette promos cut on each other. Oh, dude, for many years, it was like, I think we're on our 10th, maybe 11th year of possibly going without swearing at each other, putting up the tree. Who would have ever thought that this would be like the breaking point, the stressful point in a marriage, but it is.
There you have it.
So yeah, we do that, and probably get a couple Christmas movies in over that weekend because Kim has been champing at the bit.
We're going to go the opposite direction. We're going to try to get in as much Stranger Things as we can, because Stranger Things Volume 1 comes out Wednesday evening. And I believe they're releasing all episodes for that part of the final season. So we are going to try to watch as much of it, I think, as a family as we can, just because we have watched it together for the prior 4. So
yeah, no, that's totally merited.
Looking forward to that. But we also, it was funny, like on our vacation at the end of October, my wife and I were, as part of our conversation on the long drive we had, we're starting to map out like, what are all the holiday movies we want to watch? Because last year, we ended up not getting to watch as much as we had hoped for.
We didn't either.
It just got really busy, and we didn't, and we just didn't plan it out well. Like, we had opportunities, but we just didn't think to watch a holiday movie then, or it was something we wanted to watch with the kids, and schedules didn't work out and stuff. So, anyways, just a little.
I think I'm actually going to map it out on the calendar. Like, I'm just going to start choosing some of those movies, because like, missed out on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation last year. I know.
Oh, we at least got that in. So I don't mean to judge, but I'm just like, that one hurts. That one hurts.
I don't even think it got Die Hard in last year, which really was disappointing to me.
One line from that movie that absolutely befuddled my mom when we were out visiting them was, I have to take pills every day for health reasons and whatnot. And so jokingly, what I do is I take a line from the movie when they're all starting to pile into the car to go to the mall, and you hear what I think it's Clark's father-in-law is like, I got to take my back pill. And I say it just like that. I'm like, got to take my back pill. And my mom legitimately was like, is something wrong with your back? I'm like, no, it's from the Christmas Vacation movie.
Come on, Mom, get my references.
The movie. We watch it every year. Oh my gosh. Anyways, that was funny. That was funny. Is there something wrong with your back? No, I'm good. Hey, but speaking of Thanksgiving, my friend, and getting together with the getting together with our families, and hey, I do that really well by
Tell them, Hawk.
The other part of Turkey Day, my friend, is the football. and we need to catch up on this week's activities for this the week 12 year of our Lord 2025 fantasy football. Tales from the Fantasy Gridiron.
I'm just looking at the offerings for Thanksgiving.
Well, they're never good because they usually involve Dallas and
the
Detroit,
Lions, yeah. Which yeah. So we got Lions, Packers, we got Chiefs, Cowboys, and Bengals, Ravens.
Ooh, interesting.
But anyways,
there's fantasy implications in all three of those for me, my friend.
Yeah, and here we are looking at fantasy football, and still I was trying to distract as much as possible. All right.
How's you want to start with my matchup, or do you want to start?
Oh, go right ahead. I'll flip over to yours.
All right. Well, best in the world taking on Peyton's Lazy Boys, and ladies and gentlemen, I was predicted to lose and lose mightily. That might not happen, actually, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I am down. What's that?
You're in a barn burner.
I am down by 3 points right now, 155. I have 155 to 158. Both myself and my opponent have one more player left to play. Both wide receivers. His wide receiver plays tomorrow night, San Francisco versus Carolina. My wide receiver, Devontae Adams of the LA Rams, will be taking on Tampa Bay tonight. And right now, the projections are that I'm going to eke out a victory, 171 to 170, mostly because Devontae Adams is projected to put up 16 fantasy points, and against a Tampa Bay defense that is fading, I think his chances of doing so are very, very good. On the other hand, I looked at my opponent's wide receiver. His name is Ricky Pearsall, and I am feeling very bullish about the fact that the last several games, he's put up 0 points and put up 1 point last week. So,
isn't it amazing how Yahoo will still have that jamoke down for like 12 points?
I know. I know.
Doesn't that get adjusted and accounted for in terms of like the last couple games? Like seriously?
Don't know. Well, I have a tale of my own to tell because I once again fell for it, and I went ahead and put Jameson Williams. I made him active. Ladies and gentlemen, the last 3 weeks, weeks 9 through 11, he posted the following: 16 points, 23 points, and 19 fantasy points.
Yep.
I said to myself, okay, it's been 3 weeks. There's a trend.
It's a trend.
There's a trend.
Data points.
I'm going to go ahead and play him because he can't possibly put up 0 at this point. If he puts up anything, it'll be maybe low, but it's not going to be 0. And what did Jameson Williams do today from Detroit? He put up the goose egg. I swear to you, sir, you are not the only one being smote here.
And what's worse is you had Shakir on your bench he went for 17
because he had
points.
negative 1 points last week.
Yep.
I demoted him, and he put up 17 points, the son of a gun. But honestly, I don't feel too bad about my choices this week and what I left on the bench. I did have, Jaylen Warren from Pittsburgh put up 30 fantasy points as a running back. I'm not going to say his name right. Kyle Monagai of Chicago put up 22. Was pretty close to that, so I gave, I left 8 on the table, if you will. Joe Flacco, is now kind of coming down to earth. I believe Joe Burrow is in the offing to come back. And so I benched Flacco, and actually it was the right choice because Jared Goff of Detroit went up for 46. He's my high scorer. Derrick Henry, ladies and gentlemen, we think the corpse of Derrick Henry is not quite dead yet because he put up 43 fantasy points, 21 rushing attempts, 64 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receptions, 24 receiving yards. And my go-to man, my MVP, Cameron the Kicker Dicker, he was out this week, but I did bring in not a lot, but Cam Little. So,
you're like Timu friggin' Berman here.
I just love the fact that I went from a guy named C. Dicker to someone named C. Little.
Doesn't take a whole lot to really tickle your pickle, does it?
No, I'm looking at your face, though, and I can see the gears going, too. The jokes that he wants to tell, ladies and gentlemen, but he's holding back. He's holding back.
Yeah.
My other MVP for my team, though, the Baltimore defense continues to just be amazing. Put up 19 fantasy points. Now, that was 2 less than my opponent, but, nothing to sneeze at there. I think it is very good. So I am at 155, down against my opponent's 158, but I'm very, very hopeful that Devontae Adams will seize the day and put up a good 16 to 20 fantasy points, put me over the edge. How about you, sir? How are you doing in your matchup? Are you on a roll? You won last week, and is the doomed crawling out of the pit? What's going on? I have not looked at your score. Ooh,
I am getting pimp slapped like I owe the money to the wrong people.
I should have looked at your matchup before I started with that lead in because, but good God Almighty,
frack me, right? So, you look at my scores, and they're not terrible. So, I had Drake May got me 43. Rashid Shaheed just taking a dump all over me. But yet, I don't really have too many other options right now. There's just no good wide receivers out there.
You want Khalil Shakir?
No, I don't want to jump on that train. I picked up this guy Wilson from Arizona, Michael Wilson.
Wilson!
And because Marvin Harrison Jr. is out with his whatever at this point, sprained his taint or something. I have no idea. But so Michael Wilson. Oh, you all right over there?
I wasn't expecting the taint joke.
But he went for 21 points, and then I had another Arizona wide receiver, Dortch. He went for 19. So that was pretty good.
Damn, I didn't realize you had two Arizona wide receivers, my friend.
And honestly, I didn't either because I was just looking for anybody at this point because I didn't really have any great options. So then I had an underperforming Saquon Barkley give me 22. Warren, a respectable 9 from the tight end spot. The kicker from Baltimore here, Tyler Luke, giving me 11 points, and Jacksonville giving me 15. I mean, these are respectable scores. I've got, what's his first name again? I can never remember. Kyron Williams going tonight. The problem is I also left points on the bench because Kareem Hunt decided to go off for 49 points today out of nowhere. Which kind of sucks. Even Bam Knight, who would have gotten me 1 more point than Saquon did, at 23.
Is that LA's younger brother?
Maybe. The problem is I'm playing off to grandma, and basically he had 2 wide receivers go for 29 points each.
Jesus.
He also had a wide receiver in his flex spot go for 16, and then he has Cleveland's defense go for 30. So even though a lot of his other numbers are kind of pedestrian, like his running backs, 32 and 24 points, like not big deals, but those 2 wide receivers and that defense, I'm in a spot right now where basically I need Kyron Williams to go for 70 points tonight.
It could happen.
Yeah. I've got a 4% chance. I had a 5% chance, and then they just kicked off the Sunday night game. And because Kyron Williams didn't touch the ball apparently on the first play, I'm now down to 4% chance for winning.
I'm like, idiot duck.
So, yeah, once again, let the smiting begin.
And in our league, you and I are tied at 4 wins, 7 losses. We actually have a log jam of 4 teams at 4 and 7.
Yeah.
So a lot of movement could happen here. And by the way, up for grabs is that coveted 6th place spot, which gets you into the playoffs. So all I got to do is just jump. All I got to do is eke in, and then it's all my. Should I grab the belt to remind everyone who I am?
I was going to make a joke about you eking in. Look at me being mature.
I'm so proud of you. You're showing real growth. Sir. All right. Well, that is our Tales from the Fantasy Gridiron, Week 12. We will be back next week with Week 13, and we'll see if Uncle Todd has been completely smoted or only slightly smoted.
It's actually smited. I
smited?
Okay. Yeah,
apparently
I got that corrected.
All right. Well, rolling along as we ought to do in the Week in Geek, we are journeying through the nether regions of the interwebs. traversing all sorts of stories,
Gently
and
tickling them.
and
you know?
fables. But first and foremost is not necessarily something from the interwebs, but a free range idiocy exclusive with Uncle Todd, who has recently, and by recent, I think it was like
2 months ago.
about 2 months ago, watched the relatively recently released Superman movie by James Gunn.
Yes.
And while he may not have a lot on details, in fact, in our pre-production meeting, he was very clear when he said, "Tim, I don't remember a damn thing from it." I think is what he said. I just want to understand from you, sir. Did you like it? Was this worthy of the hype? Is James Gunn taking DC to new places through this being a launch point of the Superman story?
No, I think they're going to the same places, which is just mediocrity compared to, and that's mediocrity compared to the mediocrity that Marvel has been in. It's not a bad flick. It's not. Let's put it this way. I started watching last weekend. I started watching Jurassic World Rebirth, and I stopped it about midway through because I'm like, I just cannot deal with this many stupid ass characters doing stupid ass things. This stupid ass movie.
Wow.
I just can't.
Okay.
So I didn't stop the movie. So I watched it. I liked the kind of the way they started the movie, where it's literally, I mean, and this is not a huge spoiler because you find out about it in the first 5 minutes. They start off the movie like after Superman's first defeat. So like he has just lost a fight.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I haven't seen this before, and you don't get the retelling of the origin story and all that, which I'm like, okay, that's good. The problem I have here is that it felt kind of flat, and it felt like I mean, the fact that I really don't remember much of it says a lot. Like, and I found myself about 3/4 of the way through thinking like, was that, like the Suicide Squad reboot, soft reboot sequel, was that really, DC thought that was really that good that they're like willing to hand everything over to James Gunn? Because I'm like, we're kind of in the same boat here. Like, this is another underwhelming movie that is kind of like, not only do you have to suspend disbelief, you have to leave all of your logic at the door.
Yeah.
Like there's one point where, and I won't say exactly what's going on here, but you have an army that is going to charge across the plains, is going to charge across the border, and this is going to be a world event that is going to shatter the peace and all this. And one of the gimmicks here is Lex Luthor has been supplying them for, with weaponry and all this stuff. And they're driving like a couple of old Jeeps, pickup trucks, and like factory something like supplying them with what? Yeah. There's nothing. And it's one of those cases where, almost like with Wonder Woman 1984, where you're like, time is taking place in like 5 different speeds, because in the amount of time that has happened in the movie, that army, and I'll put it in quotes because basically the Salvation Army could have kicked this army's ass, should have been across that plain and that border and already rolled over the unarmed occupants 10 minutes ago. But no, we're still like, they've only moved 100 feet. I'm like, there's nothing stopping them.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things where I'm like, it was not offensively stupid, but it was also just not all that great. Yeah. There were some good aspects of it. The flying, the way they chose to do the flying, to me was really friggin' weird. It was very weird how it was just like, it was a fixed camera on, I forget what the guy's name is, and basically you're watching it like I don't know. I don't know that anyone has ever done it this way.
It's like if he had a GoPro attached to him and he's flying.
Yes, and everything is rotating around him, and he's the steady point. I'm like, it was kind of the lamest way to show like Superman's big power of flight.
Okay.
Yeah, it just wasn't great. Not even a little bit. And it's one of those things where it's like, and this is what's supposed to like, take us into the future, like another kind of mediocre wet fart from DC.
Was it also setting up like other characters from DC? Because I thought there was like a couple Green Lantern characters or something like that.
You've got the Green Lantern. You've got Hawk Girl.
Okay.
Who else was in it? Again, like, yeah, they're setting up like the Justice League again. You know, there's the Hall of Justice and all of that. I'm like, some of it was okay, and some of it was just sort of overall, it just felt very meh.
Yeah.
And you can't afford, with DC's history and missteps and the fact that you essentially, because, like, let's not forget, like, in order to make this happen, in order for us to get the James Gunn Superman and the James Gunn DCU and all of this to happen, they essentially took the last two or three movies that they already had in the chute when they made this big switchover and essentially released them saying, oh, and by the way, these movies don't mean anything because we're not continuing this continuity. Because I'm pretty sure it was, what was it, Black Adam, Aquaman 2, Blue Beetle, I think?
Yep.
Were all released after they announced, like, oh, and these characters aren't going to continue over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you flushed a ton of box office money. Not that any of those movies I think would have broke the bank, but I mean, you flushed that in order to get to this, and to have this kind of arrive and be like, it's all right. You can't afford that, dude. Like, you've got to nail this. And it felt very much of like all right. I mean, I could have watched this or Eternals. Yeah. And kind of felt about the same. And people love to rip on Eternals. It's like, we're kind of like, yeah, the CGI dog was nice. Otherwise, not so much. But anyways, yeah, so I can't say that I would give it my heartiest recommendation.
Okay.
If you have it, available to you on HBO Max, and it's free, and you can pause it and make your own snacks, it's worth it if you got nothing else to do on a random night or afternoon. Give it a watch, but it's nothing I would be like, oh wow, this is a big deal.
This is not a franchise building.
Well, they're going to build a franchise out of it, whether it is or not. I mean, it's
yes, they're going to do that, but did it hold up in your mind to be that? And it sounds like no.
No, it was again, like, even taking out of context how much monetarily this cost.
Mm-hmm.
The movie itself, James Gunn, all of the work you're putting into the new setup of the DCU, plus all of the money that you essentially just went, and we're not even talking about the Batgirl movie that was a tax write-off. All of that, even taking that out, it was still very lackluster. When you add in all of that, it's like, wow, you guys, you were better off what you were doing before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what the box office on this was. Actually, let me look this up. I'm curious now. Superman
consulting with his AI overlords.
No, I'm actually I'm typing in and going through this. It was David Corenswet, who was the guy who played Superman. Where's the money? Show me the money. Not that this means a ton. So we have a budget of $225 million. Oh. Gross for U.S. and Canada is $354 million and change. Worldwide gross of $616 million. So when you figure that, usually with the budget you double that because you have to advertise this sumbitch, you cleared $100 million on this. I wonder what Aquaman 2 did compared to this, just out of curiosity. 2, where are you? Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And that was rated I've noticed that on the way down here, that was rated a 5.6. Oh, okay, maybe not. That had a budget of $205 million. U.S. and Canadian gross was $124 million. Worldwide gross was $440 million. So they did a bit better, but not so much better that you're going to you're going to want to schedule a parade.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you got nothing else to do, just go in with low expectations.
And Jurassic World Rebirth, is it worth even a viewing?
No.
That bad, huh?
Yeah. Surprisingly so.
ScarJo didn't save the day? No?
You know, it's a weird thing because I was kind of digging her character to start, and then it felt like the character just kind of got very generic. Like, the best way I can put Jurassic whatever Rebirth is, the script was originally pitched as a video game. And then someone's like, oh, Scarlett Johansson has said she really wants to be in a Jurassic World movie. Turn that into a movie. Because it felt very much like the plot of a video game. Like, okay, we have to go get these 3 dinosaurs, and they're here and here and here, and we have to go here and here. And then it's like you run this gauntlet of different stuff happening. And I'm like,
Was it connected at all to like the Chris Pratt outing? Okay.
Yeah, and to the originals. But it's tenuous, and it's very kind of, it really felt like they were trying to graft a lot of story onto these characters that no one had ever really planned on them having to have a lot of,
I see,
history. And then in every situation, they were making the dumbest possible decision you could possibly make just to keep the plot moving in the right direction.
I see.
I'm like, this is awful.
Gotcha.
Again, I was just looking for something to blow some time and all that, and I got halfway through it. I'm like, I can't take this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yep.
So, yeah,
well,
definitely watch Superman before Rebirth.
You heard it here first. This is a free-range idiocy exclusive from Uncle Todd. Superman, meh.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Rebirth, you heard it here first. All right, moving along, keeping within the comic book realm, Avengers Doomsday. This is from our friends at, I think this is Yahoo Entertainment is where I found this.
Wow.
Or actually superherohype.com. I'm sorry, Superhero Hype, part of the portfolio.
Well, it is Yahoo Entertainment, but this is like one of their divisions?
I don't know, but the title is Avengers Doomsday costume photo reveals huge Doctor Doom MCU fan theory. So, sir, scroll down if you will, till you come across a Twitter post, which is the costumed photo in question. And what this is basically tipping its cap to is the fact that so for our listeners who cannot see the Doctor Doom outfit,
it'll be in the the link will be in the notes.
Post, but it is basically mannequins of Doctor Doom, Sue Storm, and Franklin Storm.
I've seen better costumes at Spirit Halloween.
Indeed. Yeah, the Doctor Doom one, I was kind of like, this
feels like such a swerve.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Either that or lighting really makes that much of a difference.
Yeah. I'm trying to see who the, let's see. Russo Brothers production company, AGBO, shared a TikTok where Sue Storm and Franklin Richard mannequins can be seen in the background. A Doctor Doom mannequin appeared to be standing in between the two of them. However, he was mostly hidden from the camera. On Twitter, user @KickinComics, has shared a photo that fully reveals the 3 mannequins in their costumes. It comes with the caption, Sue is 100% Doom's wife in his universe, and Franklin was his son. So the fan theory is, and this is just a rumor, is that it does speak to the idea that we could see Doctor Doom. I've read a couple things. One is in the comic adaptation that many think is going to be done for Doomsday and Secret Wars, is that Doom he kind of stitches together in order to prevent a multiversal calamity or something, stitches all these worlds together into something called Battle World, which we actually have done a Reel and Jabroni on in the past.
And
it's kind of a kingdom.
2 Reel and Jabronis, I believe.
Yes. Good. Sorry.
No, I was going to say it's a multi-time Jabroni for us.
There you go. Well, now it may be a reel, because if this happens, basically Doom will apparently rule this stitched together universe, whatever you want to call it. And the theory is in one of the, I don't know if it's Secret Wars itself or a different titled, arc, but Doom does take Sue Storm, who I think is the unwilling bride, but is basically stands by him for a period of time before I think things kind of come back to the Fantastic Four. And so, and Reed Richards and Franklin as well. And so, which makes sense because if Franklin has the power that was, kind of hinted at in the Fantastic Four movie from the summer, that might be one of Doom's, tools, if you will, to make this battle world happen, because Franklin apparently has the ability to create. So we will see. But sir, your thoughts on this? Because as I pointed out to Uncle Todd, there is literally very little Marvel content coming out between now and next December. Maybe a TV show or two.
We get Wonder Man, right? Which I don't know what.
I was going to say, are you looking forward to that, or
I'm
indifferent to it?
To borrow what's her face? Oh my, it's Nikki Glaser?
Yes.
To borrow her kind of bit on Kevin Hart, Wonder Man has me kind of wondering, man.
Haha! Saw what you did there.
Why am I going to watch this? I don't know. And I've been pretty much on board. Like, I've watched more of the Marvel shows than you have. Like, I've kind of gotten through a lot of this content, and man, I don't know about this. We'll see if it entices me.
Yeah.
The
larger theory at play here would be that Doom has plans for Earth 838 Sue and Franklin. Could be trying to cut out Reed Richards out of the picture. The incursion could then be his method of doing so, as this could give Doom an opportunity to adopt them as his own family. Did it mention an incursion earlier? Might have. No,
good question.
It does not. So, anyways, just something to keep in the back of your head as you think about Doomsday, as it is more than a year away, because I don't think it's coming out till December of 2026. So we'll have more wonderful rumors like this coming from Superhero Hype and others from the portfolio.
Oh, I can't hardly wait.
I bet. Well, hey, here we have it from CagesideSeats.com. We're going to switch over to the world of wrestling, because I can't wait to hear Uncle Todd and his Lewis Blackness self go off on a couple of these articles we have. But this first one, I saw this and I'm like, this is a Week in Geek article through and through.
For all the times that you give, all the hard time you give me about trying to pick at you do the exact same thing.
What was that? You stopped for a second. Your video and audio stopped.
I said, for all of the times that you give me crap for like trying to like pick at you, like you do the exact same thing.
Yes,
You're trying to push my buttons all the time.
Yes, I do. Now, if you had backed off, I may not pursue such things, but
horse shit.
This is like for like. All right. But the title of this article is Reigns versus Lesnar is the greatest feud of the past decade. And the subtitle says, by every measurable metric, no rivalry has defined modern wrestling more than Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Shall I go through the facts first and then let you rebut?
Please.
Okay, so in this, what they are quoting is from this last week, we had a show closing brawl on Monday Night Raw, where we saw Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar go toe-to-toe. This after Lesnar apparently came in and threw CM Punk and Cody Rhodes around like the veritable ragdolls that they are. But Reigns came in, had a face-off. But the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar changed the War Games landscape video on YouTube had over 4 million views since Monday. There's a clip on X showing Reigns arriving to meet Lesnar, which has nearly 3 million views. And another clip posted Thursday featuring Reigns landing a Superman punch on the Beast already has 1 million views. They go on to say, since 2015, their feud has produced big numbers, both live and online. 3 WrestleMania main events set reported record gates in 2015 at $12.6 million, 2018 at $14.1 million, and 2022 at an estimated $18 million. Their final Mania showdown in 2022 also helped generate over $200 million in economic impact for the Dallas-Arlington area. It was the first WrestleMania to reach that milestone. In total, their singles feud has headlined 5 of 6 premium live events. Their last meeting at SummerSlam 2022 was their most celebrated encounter, earning an impressive I don't know if we rated it this way ourselves. We'll have to go back and check the records because we were recording back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
An impressive 4.5-star rating from Wrestling Observer, although that's only a fraction of a match's overall impact. Let's see, like WrestleMania, they met 3 times at SummerSlam with their 2017 Fatal 4-Way, 2018 singles match among WWE's 50 most watched YouTube videos, each with over 110 million views. Critics often dismiss the impact of Reigns-Lesnar because of a few critically panned matches, including WrestleMania 34. I believe that was the match where Lesnar retained, and everyone was sitting there scratching their heads like, why? And why was this match even done this way? I think that was the one where we have a clip in the backstage where Lesnar walks back and throws the belt at McMahon because he was so pissed at the ending of it.
Yep.
And you hear Vince go, hey!
I'm looking back through 2022, and I don't think we reviewed SummerSlam.
Oh, missed opportunity.
Huh.
But so as much as this, it's kind of interesting to me to hear by every measurable metric, and then when you get into the article, it's really YouTube views, and they do now the numbers I do agree with, and I did not go back and verify this. The WrestleMania gate is an interesting metric to choose from because yes, you build much of the card around the main event, so yes, you make the argument that Reigns and Lesnar are the draw, and the rest of the card is supplemental to that. So the fact that in those years they generated these record gates is definitely very interesting. I think what they did in Dallas in 2022 is very impressive. Although that's not about the gate, they just said it's over $200 million in economic impact, whatever that means. I mean, that could mean the local Denny's got a little bit more breakfast activity during the weekend of WrestleMania. Who knows? But anyways, so sir, what are your thoughts on this? Because I have my own thoughts, but I have gone through and listed the facts out from this article. We'll of course include a link in the show notes. What is your feeling about Lesnar versus Reigns and its impact as one of the greatest feuds of the modern times?
I think it has a lot to say about just where WWE has been and where they currently are in terms of who they push and what constitutes a draw. Because yes, yeah, they are. Of course, keep in mind that Roman Reigns was pushed down everyone's throat for how long by Vince, even when people despised him. So I mean, 2022 might have been the first time when he was really kind of over. Because I mean, until Tribal Chief came along, kind of people had some ambivalence about him, and Brock Lesnar, he's always been a draw, and totally, yeah, he's a freak of nature athletically. He is one of those people that you're just like, you want to watch him just frisbee people around. Yeah, it's the closest we get to see a modern day Viking.
That or go toe to toe with a guy like Samoa Joe, who he would have a frickin' throwdown with. I mean
so it's like
that was a feud I wish went somewhere else. But anyway, sorry.
But it's like I agree. It's a reliable draw. Or you can even say oh yeah, it's the biggest or the most reliable. Okay, but that also says a lot about how come this is the most reliable? Ain't there no one else? Why is this? You've got one guy who, great amateur wrestler and badass and all that, and then you got Roman, 4 moves of doom Roman, who okay, and this is what you've got, really? Okay, on all the other guys you've got on your roster, kind of the same thing that we're talking about now with LA Knight not being involved in Survivor Series whatsoever. A guy who's over with the crowd and who actually can have a decent match.
Yeah.
But so to me, it almost says more about the politics. Now, I will say it's focusing a lot on YouTube views, which, I mean, that's kind of the world we live in now. You can't go by cable ratings anymore. There's no Monday Night War, so it's not like this quarter hour versus this quarter hour and all that. And I get where they're going with WrestleMania, because I feel like WrestleMania is the event that is sold, or traditionally has been sold so much on the main event. The main event has always been king for WrestleMania, whether you want to go back to the original the first one, or you go to WrestleMania 3 where, you have Andre and Hogan as the draw, you have Hogan versus Warrior as the draw, you have, pick whatever. However, I would be curious to dig into some of those cards and see what people were actually interested in during those shows, because there have been times when you have that undercard can be much more influential, and people like, what was it? Didn't Bam Bam Bigelow headline a WrestleMania against Lawrence Taylor?
Yep.
During one of the dark days of the of the talent dearth with the WWE. So it's like, it's not always exactly like, oh wow, this is so great. I don't know, man. Like, I can't argue with it. Like, yeah, they draw money and it's a spectacle and all that. To me, it's more about like, why is that the case? Like, why is it that you've got we're yet again, in this spot of like a part-timer and a part-timer are this big draw. And yet you've got people who are busting their ass full time for you, and they're not kind of, and I get it, like it's the specialness of them coming back and all this, blah, 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 blah. But the fact that you just kind of keep going back to this without coming up with the next thing, it kind of talks about, like, it's going back to what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where you don't start addressing this problem, like, it's going to be a very big problem, and you're gonna hit another one of these downturns where it's like you have to start scrambling to find what's next. Yeah, I mean, this one, I guess I can't argue that much. It's just sad because I'm like, we've got the one-trick pony Reigns, coming back and doing his shtick, and Brock is kind of doing his shtick, and at least this time around, I know who I'm rooting for, because I'd much rather at this point root for Roman and his, and him than friggin' Brock and Captain. I might have been
another
involved
free range EDC exclusive right here. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Todd is on board with Roman Reigns. Let the word go out to the streets.
I would much rather, back Roman Reigns than someone possibly involved in human trafficking. I'm silly like that.
Fair enough.
But it's like, to me, it just speaks more to like how the business is structured and why is this the case? And why do you have to continue to go back to this well? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about the match itself, but yeah.
I think it's hard to call, like, I guess what I take issue with when you call it the greatest feud of the last decade is it was a great feud, but it was in spite of what WWE was trying to do with Roman Reigns. Like, the first part of the sequence of matches they had where Reigns was losing to Lesnar was when they were trying to make Reigns the vanilla babyface hero. Vince was trying to shove him down everyone's throats. People didn't want him because they wanted other superstars to see, the limelight. It became very clear that Reigns was the chosen one. And for some reason during the 2010s, he just did not click with people. Like, he would get a reaction, he would get a decent reaction, but there was always, when Reigns was supposed to win the Rumble with, and they brought The Rock out to solidify him as the victor. I'm forgetting what year it was. It was during the 2010s, might have been the 2015 one. And Rock comes out and they're booing Reigns. They're booing because either, and I forget what the deal at that Rumble was, but it was either they wanted to see Brian Danielson, whatever the hell his name is, go, be the one to win the Rumble, or at the time there was also a feeling of like Rey Mysterio or something. There was one year I remember Mysterio was big on everyone's mind, and they thought if he came in as number 30, like if he was like a surprise entrant, he would be the one. And I just remember whoever did come in as number 30 got booed because everyone thought it was going to be Rey, and it wasn't, and they were all disappointed. And of course, this was during this Vince era, and I don't think I'm saying I'm overstating this too much. There were times when I would watch these events and see what they were doing, where I legitimately thought or felt like Vince was getting off on that. Like, I think he wanted to do stuff, like he wanted to have the it felt like that's what one of his goals was to piss the fans off. Like, this is my universe. We're going to do what I want, and you're going to like it. And if you don't like it, that's all right. I want to hear you boo, because that's still money in my pocket nonetheless.
Yeah.
And
you have to show up and pay for a ticket to boo.
Right. And for Reigns and Lesnar, they just got off on this weird start, because Reigns, like if you were going with the story that was being told, it should have been, I mean, similar to Cody, it should have been Reigns, maybe not year 1, but year 2, conquering Lesnar, becoming champion, and going on this amazing run. And, instead it was, I think it was the first time they faced off was when Seth Rollins cashed in. And so Seth wins the belt, who no one was even thinking about it, but it was part of what they were trying to do then with that story. Then I don't have all the matches lined up in my memory, but I just remember it was kind of like a losing streak. Like, he lost the second match, he lost the third match, and then I think there was that break. And then when he came back, I forget who he beat for the belt. It might have been Bray Wyatt. But then when he was champion and he faced Lesnar, then he was on the winning end of things. Mm-hmm. And then you saw a more dominant Reigns, but that was Reigns as a heel at that point, starting the bloodline with Paul Heyman. And now he just had this aura about him where he was just like he had a confidence. He was better than Lesnar. Lesnar was always going to be a beast, but Reigns was a different competitor against him. And so you felt like something had shifted in the feud, and now Reigns was dominant. And that's where things have been since with the two of them. And so that's where I don't know if I'd call it the greatest feud. I would call it one of the most odd feuds, where it just didn't have a flow that you were expecting, but a lot of it had to do with how, like, no one had an issue with Brock. All the fans had the issues were with Roman, and the way they perceived him, and the way they felt about him being, the one to be crowned. And I just I get what the article's saying, and I think there is some truth to it. Like clearly these two generate a number, no doubt. And now that Reigns, he's the guy who has this streak holding the belt. Lesnar is always going to be the beast, but these are both guys, they're equals now. Like, it's not like, one is higher than the other. They like, when you see these two go at it, it's going to be, it's going to be a hoss fight, and it's going to be, something special. And I agree, when they met at SummerSlam, I think that SummerSlam match they referenced, where it was like 4.5 stars, like that was the match where I think Lesnar brought the John Deere out and like lifted the ring with it or something like that. And the ring, like when the match ended, the ring was like up, like on its end. It was like this crazy visual that, cause it was like a no holds barred match or something crazy like that. So, so I think the data does show it. I mean, again, I did not go in and pull all the information out to have it lined up for us to talk about, but I think, overall, these two, no doubt, are draws. These two as a match are still an attraction that I think people would be interested to see. And yes, I think they would do good numbers for WWE, but I think they would do good numbers as kind of a one-time come back and do it sort of thing. I wouldn't say at this stage of their careers we're in a place of, these two feuding for the next year or anything like that, because they're both on the tail end of their career. So
maybe, I mean, who knows at this point? Hope. Yeah. Yeah. Very.
So I would say it's a notable feud. I don't know if it is.
Oh, it's notable. Yeah. I mean, you can't have. I mean, with the amount of acclaim, or not acclaim, with the amount of money these two have drawn, then you can't dismiss it.
No.
But at the same time, no. I would agree. I think it's notable. It's not like, oh my gosh, this is a defining, feud of the decade. I don't get that.
No. If anything, I would look to. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I need to look at Seth Rollins matches. I need to look at, obviously you have John Cena in the discussion there. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, actually. Kevin Owens has had very notable feuds. Now, again, is he at the level of Lesnar-Reigns? Yeah, probably not. But I just feel like he, that's what's hard. Like I I forget that, I think about feuds that I feel are good feuds, and what we're talking about here are views and money.
Yeah.
And, I need to go back and look at some of the other main events to see how they drew and who the principals were in it, to say, did we have, is there another feud that that you could use to dispute this argument with? We'd have to go back and do some research into the numbers on that one. So
I'll let you do that.
Indeed. By the way, just want to let you all know, it is second quarter. LA Rams up 14-0 against Tampa Bay. Devontae Adams, 3 receptions, 28 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, already at 11 points. I am 66% favored to win. So I am living high on the hog right now, and hoping that things continue to go my way.
Yeah, Kyron Williams is not doing me any favors right now. My chances of winning, according to Yahoo, 1%.
Oh. Well, at least you can say you're in the 1%. Just don't say anything more.
I'm like 1% milk that's been left out in the sun.
Just not the right 1%. So, good Lord. All right, sir. Well, you switching from wrestling over into we're going to bounce back into the sci-fi universe, specifically Star Trek. You, sir, have collated, cultivated, and curated a couple of articles here for us on the Star Trek front. The first one is about how Star Trek's Kelvin timeline has got the business end of the phaser. It has been F5'd. It has been Superman punched. It has been GTS'd, so to speak.
It has been tossed into a black hole.
Indeed.
Yeah, and this one was pretty much it been kind of rumored for a long time that they probably weren't going to make another one of these. And then they might have, and then they weren't, and then they might have, and now it's kind of just finally, it's the one that we knew, the secret that we all knew is out, and they're just completely poop canning the Kelvin timeline and that crew, and they're moving in a new direction. I guess there is a new Star Trek movie in the works, but it's not going to have Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana, Zachary Quinto. We will not be getting any more of Simon Pegg as Scotty, which is the true just
Travis
here. However, I understand. I feel like Star Trek fans, although they're not quite as liable to eat their young as Star Wars fans are, there's still very much a lot of folks who are just miserable jerks. And there's a lot of hate directed at the Kelvin timeline. They didn't like J.J. Abrams. They didn't like the lens flare, all that stuff. They just didn't like it. And
they didn't
to me,
like the lens flare?
There was if you go back and watch the Star Trek, the original Star Trek, 2009 Star Trek.
Yeah.
The lens flare, so which you try to normally avoid, where you get the lens kind of flares out as you go past a light.
Okay.
That is shining directly in the lens. You normally try to avoid that, and they kind of embrace that, and it became kind of a defining part of the aesthetic of the.
It just seems like one of those like real nitpicky things. It's like, God, we're gonna really complain about that, really?
I said that they're a little less likely to eat their young than Star Wars. Not that much less.
Holy crap! Okay.
However, the fact is, like, if these movies aren't made, then we really don't get, Strange New Worlds, Discovery. You don't get Starfleet Academy. You don't get all the stuff that's been going on. You don't get Lower Decks. None of that really happens because this really did excite people, especially the 2009 movie. Like, I saw that and I was like, holy crap. And of course, there was a ton of people who were pissed off about that because, like, it's turning Star Trek into Star Wars. It's all this, it's trying to make it actiony. It's like, oh my gosh, heaven forbid we make it exciting. And the fact that, guess what, folks? Everyone talks about, like, oh, we want the science-y Star Trek. It's always been more mental. It's like yet all the movies that you guys really talk about how, oh yeah, the odd number movies aren't as good. The even numbers are. I'm like, which ones have the more science-y stuff? The odd numbers. Which one are the ones that have the more action-y kind of bam pow and the humor and all that? The even ones. The ones you friggin' like. Just get over yourselves. Like, you're trying to almost like puff yourself up.
Yeah.
So they weren't a fan of these. I actually thought they were really good. I enjoyed Chris Pine, his take on Kirk. I really liked oh my gosh, what's his name? The dude who played Bones. in these movies.
Oh,
Yeah, Aussie. Dated
oh,
Caddy's-
Carl Urban.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought he was I just thought really overall this cast had a really great chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see like, oh yeah, I can see where you would draw a direct line between them and what we then saw in later Star Treks. Like, I really enjoyed the take that J.J. Abrams had here. And I even liked, I know a lot of people weren't a fan of Into Darkness when we got, Khan and we reversed all that stuff, and people kind of were very lukewarm on Beyond, and I enjoyed all three of them. I thought they were a blast, man. Like, it was just, they were very much just fast, fun movies that didn't take themselves ultra seriously, and I felt they took some chances with the Star Trek world that I was like, yes, it's okay to have this be a little bit, less like, well, and this, like, it's okay to just have some fun. Really, it is. So I'm sad to see this go. Of course, I'm also, I think another thing that made this tough is, what was the guy's name who played Chekhov? I'm blanking on all of these guys.
Chekhov. I need to look it up. Let me do that.
Yeah, I would too, but unfortunately, he passed away tragically. And
oh yeah. Let me see.
you're gonna say it, and it'll
Anton something or other was
Anton
his name.
Yelchin. Anton Yelchin.
Yes, you're correct.
Which made it that much more unlikely that they would, because he actually was a really sizable part of kind of the flavor of that crew,
Mm-hmm.
So am I disappointed? Yes. Am I surprised? Oh, hell no. I mean, you don't go a decade, down the road and then all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, maybe we'll make another one of these. Like, it probably wasn't going to happen, especially not with all the other stuff you have going on and the things that they found success with. But it does kind of suck. I was still hoping for a fourth one, and tying into our next item, I was kind of hoping that we would get the Quentin Tarantino just batshit insane Star Trek movie that he had a concept for. Doesn't look like that's going to happen either.
Probably not.
Fine, I guess, but oh my gosh, can you imagine that? Like, and how much would we have to pay to get like a Samuel L. Jackson cameo in that movie? Just showing up as like an international, I don't know what.
Mother.
The first Star Trek movie that would definitely have to be an R, and not it'll be a hard R. Like, I so want to see. You know what? I don't even need to see the movie. I would just love and this should be like a charity sort of thing, because I would pitch in on this one if we could get enough people to pitch in and be like, oh, Quentin, we don't need you to make the movie.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to rent out a small theater. We're all going to kick in money. It's all going to go to the charity of your choice. We just want you to sit there and explain it to us. Run us through your ideas for the movie. It doesn't even have to make sense. I just want to hear Quentin Tarantino yap for like 2 hours about what he would want to do with the Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating. That's a once-in-a-lifetime experience to have Quentin just talking at you about Star Trek and going, he knows an awful lot, and he's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that as well.
Yeah.
But apparently both of these we are not going to get. So
yeah, I was not nearly as I saw the very first Star Trek with Chris Pine and the cast about 12 years ago now, 10 years ago. And I liked it. I did want to see Into Darkness, because I remember reading about how it was kind of that universe's take on Khan, which I thought was interesting. And then Star Trek Beyond, I saw it, but I just didn't I saw the trailers, but I just did not see it. So I'm not as as deeply immersed in the lore and the story as you are, sir, where you have seen them. I was a little surprised that they're kind of moving away from it. I mean, the article did kind of lend itself to or mention that there would be I think a new Star Trek movie that they're discussing. So I don't know, what universe or what approach they're going to take to it. I'm also kind of questioning too, like, not that there's never a place for there to be Star Trek in our culture, but I don't know. I'm just kind of like wondering, is it one of those things where we need to take a couple of years off from and then bring it back, because it's just with the Star Trek show. What was the Star Trek show with the one that I started watching? You and your wife have watched the whole thing.
Discovery.
There's Discovery. There's Below Decks or Above Decks or whatever it's called.
Below Decks, yeah.
Below Decks.
No, lower Decks. Sorry.
Lower Decks. Sorry. I don't know. I'm like, what would you do, for a new Star Trek movie? Like I'm sure there's ideas, but it's like something compelling that's really going to draw people to a theater.
Well, I think the thing is
that isn't too gimmicky.
Yeah, I think the obvious one that I'm still hoping for. I'm still hoping we get a continuation of Picard season 3, and kind of a takeoff on that. I think that would be interesting, even if it's just a series.
Yeah.
But whatever they do, like, there's options now, and there weren't options before. Like, the fact that what I loved about the Kelvin movies is they did take some chances. And you saw Romulans in a different way on the first one.
Yeah.
You saw the interplay of time travel and that done in a way where I'm like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense that you're like, this makes sense like what you're doing. Instead of just like, oh, well, everything's different for the sake of being different. Like, no, you actually came up with a compelling reason that this is different. In the second one, when they brought back Khan, and you like the interplay of like Starfleet having a secret weapons division, things like that, which definitely comes out later in Discovery, in Strange New Worlds, and what was it, Section 31, I think was the show that they had on Paramount Plus. Like, that's a thing. The way that they dealt with kind of things in Beyond, I'm like, you can see these tendrils then reaching out into the shows like Discovery, where it's like, that is not only is it's not like the first show that ever took place on a ship that wasn't Enterprise.
Yeah.
But it was the one that kind of was like, this is the farthest afield that we've ever seen them go in terms of what core Star Trek what we thought was.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, they say they're developing a Star Trek movie. It can go in any number of directions instead of it having to be like, okay, well, how are they going to reboot it so we're back on the Enterprise with Kirk and Spock and Bones and all that? Like, it could be anything at this point. Like, it really could be any number of things.
Yeah.
So I guess I give a lot of credit to the Kelvin timeline for kind of a springboard effect on this. I could see anything being placed in that Discovery, Strange New Worlds kind of timeline that they've had. Like, I really feel like you could springboard off of that, and maybe it does end up becoming like, after Strange New Worlds, and we get Kirk and the Enterprise from there and all that. I don't know. Or maybe we do something in this more kind of towards Discovery, or who knows. The menu is open, I guess.
It is.
At that point.
It is. Just need to see something compelling.
Yes. Well, it's got to be a good story. That's the thing. Like, it can be, anything. If the story sucks, then who cares?
And does Star Trek have a similar problem to Star Wars, where they need to start telling stories that are beyond Skywalker? So Star Trek needs to tell a story beyond Kirk, beyond.
Well, they already have. They did that, and you go back and you look at like Next Generation. The problem is getting outside of some of those conventions, because we got Next Generation.
Like they've not really done a movie unless it's been based on those principles, right? I mean, yes, they've done television shows, and they've done television shows very well that are completely disassociated from those core characters. But when it comes to movies,
true,
the only attempt they've made is with the Next Generation cast. Otherwise, it's always been Kirk, Uhura, Sulu, blah blah blah, just played in a different way by different people. So, so I am kind of, I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm just saying I wonder if they're at an inflection point where, to keep the franchise going, they need to establish now something else, like something that isn't Kirk and isn't Picard, but maybe that, to your point, maybe that's the extension of Picard season 3, where we have his son now, and maybe there's opportunity there to, try to tell a story. It's just, they've got to come up with something that is, that has the same kind of stakes as the Borg, but is not the Borg, because the Borg has been overplayed, like in every possible way.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, that is our Star Trek update. Do we want to do the last one, or do you want to jump to your quick shout out?
I mean, we can give it a try.
All right. So from CagesideSeats.com, we're going to jump back into the world of wrestling. We're warping, if you will.
I see what you did there.
Mr. Sulu.
Gosh.
WWE, Stamford, Connecticut. Warp Factor 8, engage. But nonetheless, Mark Henry, according to our good friends at CagesideSeats.com, Mark Henry put forth an idea where Joe Hendry is John Cena's final opponent. And quite honestly, the part that I like about this, I don't like the way he articulates the entire idea. I shouldn't say it's not about his articulation. I just don't like the execution of the idea.
Yeah, how he maps it out.
Yeah, the way he wants to, the way he envisions it happening. What I like about the idea is the idea of Joe Hendry being that last opponent, based on Cena's own description of what this last match should be. And the fact that Saturday night's main event is going to feature some matches with up-and-coming NXT stars because he wants to give something back to the business that has given him so much. And so Henry's idea is, in a nutshell, that Joe Hendry, so it sounds like that Cena would have the last match, but Hendry would come out and basically ask to have the privilege of being in the ring with Cena and essentially lay down for him for one final ceremonial pin where Cena defeats Hendry, but it's just Hendry just wants to have that on his record. I want it, like I want this one moment where I get to be in the ring with you. You can beat me, and that sort of thing. And so Hendry would in essence just lay down, Cena would pin him, that would be it, and it would just be a thing to create a moment, if you will. I think that's what Mark Henry's going for. Now, the problem I have is the execution part of it. Like, Cena has made it very clear, like, he wants this to be something special where someone has earned their way to this last match. It is not, I have handpicked someone. It is not, something to that effect. So the way that I would like, that in my head would like to see it play out is, and it may happen this way, who knows, but, there is, Sheamus is hurt. We don't know if it's legit or not. So he is out of the tournament. So now LA Knight is once again facing who knows who, in his round.
Isn't it supposedly The Miz?
I haven't seen yet. Did they record the episode?
I don't know.
That's the only way that I could see that playing out, is if they recorded the episode, because we are coming into Thanksgiving. I did read that they did a double. They did the live SmackDown, and then they taped next week, this Friday SmackDown already. So you could be right. They could have revealed who that was. I need to go back and look. But let's say, for argument's sake, that it is Hendry. Then I think it would be a great moment for Hendry to have that match, to Hendry to beat, LA Knight and work his way to the final match, face Cena, maybe potentially beat him, maybe get beaten by the man. But either way, it plays into what I have read about, Cena has been very high on Joe Hendry. He, basically, if you watch Chris Van Vliet's interview with Joe Hendry, I believe Cena advised him on just, that WrestleMania moment that he had. And just, I think even earlier than that, just, just how to approach it and that sort of thing. And Hendry did pretty much everything Cena said. And I think in a different interview, Cena just said, no, he's like, he sees him as one of the next, big deals in the industry. He listens, he follows through, he has a connection with the crowd. And so to me, it would be kind of interesting to see Cena face off against him and potentially lose, like a passing of the torch sort of moment. Also could see Cena face off against him and beat him, but have it be, again, still a passing of the torch moment, because the way the match plays out could very well, elevate Hendry in a lot of fans' eyes. And you've already kind of built a star. Hendry, I did see a rumor, I believe it's moving forward this way. I believe he signed with WWE, so he's going to be debuting at some point in NXT and making his way onto the main roster. So So all that being said, it's interesting, and I like the concept. I just think the idea that Henry puts forth about creating this moment by having him come out like after Cena's last match has happened, it kind of takes away from Cena. Like it becomes more about Henry and what he wants and less about the moment of Cena's final match. And especially just for him to lay down, like the whole idea of him just laying down and letting John Cena pin him, it's like, then you don't know John Cena, because John Cena wants a fight. Like he wants to prove, in the match that he is better than his opponent, that he is the winner. I shouldn't say it that way. It's not about his ego, but it's like he wants to have a competition to show who's the best. And for someone to come in and just lay down would be almost opposite what his character typically does. So anyways, all that being said, what are your thoughts on this, on Henry's idea, and what do you think about Joe Henry in general as Cena's final opponent?
Well, one clarifying thought, wasn't one of the propositions here that Henry basically turns heel and like takes him out or something like that? Or?
Well, that is something that was discussed, that either he could do the babyface thing and just get pinned and it's a moment. The other thing is, the article talks about the other way you could go is turning Henry heel in that moment, where he attacks a vulnerable Cena because Cena thinks he's just going to lay down and pin him, and then Henry just beats the snot out of him and leaves him bloody in the ring.
Yeah.
But again, to me, it's what are they looking to accomplish in Cena's last match? Because if he has that last match and then he's left bloody like that, it's not a great way to say thank you and send him off, because I'm thinking from a fan perspective, not yes, for the business perspective, that's not a bad way to do it, because now you've kind of established a new bad guy.
I think it's a horrible way to do it, honestly.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were thinking it would be a good idea.
No, I couldn't remember if that was part of it or not, or if I just imagined that, honestly. I don't like this either way.
Okay.
I don't like it as a babyface because, and I think you've done a great job of outlining my case against, like, this is not Cena's character. It becomes an add-on. It's like this little tack-on thing at the end of the match. Not only does it undercut Cena and Cena's moment, it undercuts this entire tournament that you've just had.
Yeah.
Like, that basically means that entire tournament was bullshit, and it didn't mean anything because you're not actually John Cena's last opponent.
Yep.
Like it just undercuts everything. As a heel, I hate it even more because, one, Joe Hendry, as far as I know, still, white meat, red hot babyface, right? People love them some Joe Hendry. There's plenty of mileage left in that. The dude hasn't even made the main roster yet. Like, let people at least start to maybe get sick of him. Number two, you're going to have him beat up on the dude who's retiring, so there's no follow through on this. It's all going to then have to be a proxy, or that's just and it's a thing that gets dropped. How about this? How about we just fracking leave Cena's retirement alone? It's already been botched 6 ways to Sunday. I think I'm pretty sure at this point, judging by what happened with Dominic Mysterio in Boston and AJ Styles, I'm pretty sure that I don't need to defend further my contention that this did not need to be a story-driven retirement. This could have literally been a series of exhibitions and John going out and getting his flowers, and everyone would have been okay with it. I don't think we needed to go this whole BS route of bringing in The Rock for whatever reason and selling his soul and all that, and just then having to undo it, like, friggin' Bobby Ewing wakes up and he was in the shower the whole it was a dream all along. We wouldn't have gone through all that. Like, just leave it alone at this point. Can't do anything about it. Just finish it up the best you can and be done with it.
Yeah.
If you really want to turn Joe Hendry heel, I got an idea, and this one actually makes sense, and it allows you a runway to actually do it. Who would be the most logical person that you could put him up against right now?
Him being Henry or Cena?
If you want to turn Hendry heel, if that's like your thing, or you want Hendry to go in to have a feud or whatever like that, hey, I've got another guy who's retiring that you got a year that you could do something with.
AJ
Styles. And guess what? AJ Styles, TNA. Joe Hendry, TNA. AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, who was like a big deal in TNA back in the day. They kind of had a downturn. Joe Hendry, kind of the big deal that helped to bring TNA back to prominence. Well, gee, look at that. There's so much in common there. And guess what? They can both go. Maybe do that. Like, this idea just doesn't make sense to me. Like, oh, I get it. Like, it's a fantasy booking thing, and it sounds like a really cute idea, but no. Either way, this sucks. And no offense, Mark Henry. Like, please don't twist me like a rebar that I know you can. Like, I don't understand the appeal. I just don't.
You need a little more work before you hold the book, my friend.
Well,
I don't see Mark Henry as Booker Man quite yet. So
I mean, and I don't think a lot of people should be. It's a very unique skill set, and maybe I'm just missing something because I've never done the job.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at this and I'm like, I'm guessing at a certain point, once the business considerations and all that, at a certain point, you do have to look at it from the fan's point of view.
Yeah.
And have that, okay, so if I'm a fan, why do I want to watch this? As a fan, like, I can't see one part of this where I would want to watch this. Not even a little bit. So, and it's not going to draw money because it's unbilled. And it's not going to draw money down afterwards because John Cena's done. It's his last match, unless they're going to swerve us all and he's going to come back for another year, in which case AJ Styles would probably like to have a word with him. But it's like, I don't see how it works any which way. I really don't.
Yeah. I would agree. All right.
Which means it's totally going to happen.
Well, the one thing I will say is, Cena being who he is, I have to imagine his last match he is going to lose, because in the history of the wrestling business, when you are the outgoing, champion, outgoing superstar, you, on your way out, are putting over the next generation or putting over who is going to essentially be the star when you leave. And I believe Cena will lose his match. I believe that's what he is going to do. He will do the honors, and because he just seems to be that kind of person. Like, he doesn't need the win on his way out. He wants to, and he said it. Saturday's main event is going to be like this upcoming one on December 13th is going to be a showcase of the next generation, and whoever he's facing, whether it's someone who's from NXT or someone on the main roster, they're going to be, they're going to be sticking around. They're going to be the star. And so I just see, him doing the honors and on his way out. So whether it's Joe Hendry, whether it's the Ring General Gunther, who is rumored to be the man.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Or someone else. We will see. We will see. Sir, do you have one last final thing before we wrap up?
I do. I feel bad. I've added more to your show here, and I didn't mean to interrupt here, but I just noticed this before we jumped on, and this happened just a few hours ago today on Sunday the 23rd as we're recording. Quick shout out to our common alma mater. The University of New Hampshire Wildcat football team just received an at-large bid to the FCS tournament. We'll play a game at South Dakota State on November 29th. Go Cats, baby.
I wish I had some UNH something to grab to hold up, but I don't. I could grab the belt if you want, and just...
No, let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it.
You don't want the Winged Eagle belt?
No, let's just not jinx it.
All right.
It'd be different if Kevin Owens was holding it.
Well, it'd just be the Eagle belt. But.
Exactly. it'd be the Canadian Eagle belt, which is basically a goose that you just spray paint.
By the way, please remind me real quick, what is the motion that your daughter did to hypnotize a squirrel?
Oh, it's this. However, so we've actually experimented with this.
Okay.
It's basically just up and down.
Oh, just up and down like this.
Yeah,
okay.
it's not.
Okay.
This is more like that's curly.
Well, I know that's what I mean.
So
certainly.
But we've actually experimented this. My wife and I have experimented with this on our walks. I'm pretty sure it's a Boston. It's like a city squirrel thing. The ones that aren't scared of anything, and that like they get fed, because like Saco Maine squirrels are much more skittish. Like they're much more like, okay, you're prey, and they take off. Like they have no interest in it. So we've tried this one. We've been walking around town, and it's like, no, this is totally like a Boston Common squirrel that's just like, I got a condo over there. What do you want?
I just love the fact that you and your wife on walks are trying to do this. So it's like, we'll see in the local, Saco news.
It's totally on someone's like ring.
There's a couple
somewhere.
going around doing some sort of weird hand gesture to the squirrels.
Yeah, it'll be a cult.
Oh my gosh, local idiot, Todd Regalinski.
I was in the paper mall.
Oh, I've done you proud. All right. Shall we wrap up this edition of the Week in Geek, my friend?
Yes, sir. What have you got for and another thing for this episode, sir, for a Week in Geek Wednesday?
Mine is simply yesterday went to the theater with my wife to see Wicked for Good, the part 2 of the Wicked movie series. Very good. Duology. Well, honestly, probably could have made it just one movie, but I mean, it is a musical. It is a 3. I believe when we went to see it, it was like 3 hours or so, 3.5 maybe. It was long, but doable in one sitting. But no, very very well done. Very much enjoyed it. Little confused by some of the criticism I've read about it. Because I feel like one of the criticisms was for example, the Elphaba character seemed lost or without direction in this movie versus the first one, and I'm kind of like, no, her direction's pretty well established. I don't know what movie you were watching. It was pretty clear what she's trying to do. Just like
you got to hit a certain word count.
Did you go to the Dan Shaughnessy School of Journalism? I don't know.
That is a thing, though, dude. Like so many people, like it's their job, like writing about sports, writing about movies, writing about entertainment, writing about wrestling, where they're just like,
heal it up.
After a while, they hate it. And they hate that they're doing it, but it's like, well, this is how I make my money, and I got another kid who needs to go to college. Like,
that's how I make my bones.
Just become a miserable prick along the way.
Yeah, no, but I would highly recommend it. Wicked overall, if you can see it actually in not a movie theater, but if you can see it live as a theatrical musical production, I would highly encourage you. It is not that I am well versed across many musicals, but I feel like the soundtrack from this one is one of the best. The music is just amazing. I mean, I very much enjoy Hamilton, but I have very vivid memories of going with my wife. This was for our anniversary. This is back in like 07, 08, I think. We saw it in Chicago, and I just remember being blown away by the music. I had zero exposure to Wicked in any way, shape, or form. I was watching it with fresh eyes, when we went to the theater. And the first time you hear that song, Gravity, sung live and in the context of the musical, or Defying Gravity, man alive, it's just like, I'll steal one from The Rock. Oh my God, the goosebumps, baby, the goosebumps. Yeah, I know, but hey, it's now shorthand for goosebumps. So highly would recommend you check it out if you haven't seen the first one. It is streaming. I believe, I don't remember which streaming service. It could be Paramount. It could be,
I think it's Paramount. No,
could be the
Peacock.
I think it's Peacock. So you can see the first movie for part 1 on the Peacock, and then check this one out in theaters. But Wicked for Good.
Very nice.
What is yours, Sam?
Kid, need you to go listen to Alice's Restaurant.
You got my cheese whiz, boy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in there. Go ahead.
At least once this Thanksgiving weekend, preferably first thing in the morning at full volume, which is what I do when Thanksgiving rolls around at my house. We start off the day with Alice's Restaurant.
Okay, so I talked over you. So you're saying, kid, go listen to Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. All right.
You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant, except an Alice. Such a great just pearl. And God bless Arlo Guthrie for, I'm sure there's a lot of consternation for him about his career. Because he's had a long and storied career as a songwriter, as a performer. But you've got this song about Thanksgiving that's just that's the thing that people want to hear and they want to remember, and people want the entire 16 to 18 minute version of it. They don't want a quick little it's the story, and it is so great. I love listening to this. I love playing it for my family and them just gritting their teeth through the entire thing. They hate it. But I love it because I remember back
only you would do that to your family, like make them sit through a song that they absolutely hate because it is a Thanksgiving tradition.
It's culture. I'm trying to bring them up on this culture. I just remember going, back in the days when I was doing college radio at WUNH 91.3 FM in Durham, New Hampshire. And
it's kind of the precursor to this show when we
it is. And we weren't much better then either. And we aren't much better now. But I remember that was a joke amongst like DJs back then, is like, if someone needed to go, you need to go do a number 2, you put on Alice's Restaurant. It gives you 15, 16 minutes worth of time that you can do your business. Because that is a concern. If you're on the radio and you got to go pee, like, you need to make sure you've got your music lined up. Like you put something on that's gonna, and if you have to go drop a deuce, like, you got to make sure you got some minutes lined up, because so many times it's like you're just by yourself.
Can we have some decorum on this show?
Why start now? We're on the 200. How many episodes here?
225.
But
we got to do something special for episode 250.
But so it's something I used to play, and I enjoyed it, and I just took to it, and it's just become a tradition. And just this weird ass story about friends getting arrested for dumping garbage that then gets them out of the Vietnam War. It's like, it's a weird old world, folks, and just embrace it and sing along as loud as you can when it comes around on the guitar again. So Alice's Restaurant, make sure you listen to the full version. There's some live versions out there that are good. I linked the OG on vinyl live version that I used to play, and the same one that I play every single year. So definitely give that a listen. Alice's Restaurant by Arlo Guthrie. And now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We do so appreciate you checking us out here on a Week in Geek Wednesday. You can go to freerangeedc.com and get all of our episodes for the audio files out there. You can also find us on fine podcast purveyors everywhere. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, Podbean, all of those out there, and many more. You can also find full video episodes on our YouTube channel as well as Spotify. You can find us on the social medias. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on YouTube. All of those are at Free Range EDC. If you have any thoughts, concerns, or questions, send those to Tim at freerangeedc.com, and he will get back to you sooner or later. I don't know what his process is. He does his thing when he rolls out of bed eventually around 11 a.m.
And now when I see you.
Exactly. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn this over and have the man they call Tim take us home.
To the interwebs, I say, you suspect. We don't know what your reputation is in this town, but after what you tried to pull today, you can bet we'll be looking into you. And to all of our listeners, good day, ladies and gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep your ear to the grindstone.
Now get the hell out of here!